Welcome to 2025 for the NTT INDYCAR Series. A whole new era is about to kick off. Fox Sports takes over coverage in America, which means we get brand new angles and brand new action and graphics to bring you. Welcome to the fastest sport on earth. It really is the fastest, and we really do mean that. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the first practice session for the 2025 season here in St. Petersburg, Florida. Alongside me in the commentary box is Jackson Lambert as well. Jackson, ready to go round America once more? It's going to be a cracking season. How are you doing?
I think the NHRA guys might be a little bit offended that we're now using this term, fastest racing on Earth, but we will gladly take it. No, I mean, very rarely do I say this with every part of my body, but I really do think this is the most excited I've been for a new season. Obviously, new names on the coverage side, some fantastic effort put in by Fox, FS1, FS2, to be the new faces of not just the sport, but the promotion of it. But first real full season of a lot of new things, new charter era, so 27 full-time drivers, hopefully. First time we're going to see hybrid systems for all, 16 races or 60 destinations this year. A lot of new faces, not just in the driver's seat, but on timing stands, new brands, new sponsorships, some beautiful new liveries. It's never been a bigger refresh than it has this year, and I cannot wait to get into it.
We've using JT as a streamer at the moment due to the main streaming commentary box up here being used for the World Endurance Championship, which has had 40,000 viewers throughout its opening 9.5 hours of running as well. I don't know, we don't have a battle screen at the moment, so we're going to smile and head over to Jamie Little and listen with you on pictures.
I was sort of focused and went to the wrong box, but anyway, we're here. We're at the right box. The Dex Imaging Chevy is, I'm excited to be back in it and excited to be back here and kickstart the year.
What's the advantage for you guys to wait a little bit before you roll out?
Look, just same tires a little bit. I think tires going to be a premium. I think more than we think later on in the year and the weekend. So we're confident in our base setup. Hopefully it turns into something towards the end of the session. We'll see. But yeah, we're all eyes on sort of like tomorrow's qualifying and obviously going through the race weekend. But we'll get a nice little feeling here in the next half hour.
Thanks, Scott.
Thank you. Cheers.
Jack?
I'm down here with Adam Rovazini, the strategist for Felix Rosenquist, number 60 from iShank. Adam, different tyre allocation this weekend. How does that affect your practice session?
Yeah, today it's really no different than last year. We'll still do one set of primaries, one set of alternates. For tomorrow, though, it could get tricky, so we'll see what happens there.
Last year, Felix started on the front row, high expectations. What do you think is different this off-season to maybe allow you to make the step to pole position?
Yeah, it's just continuity. We have the same exact group that we had last year. We moved some people up. So as a group, I think we're stronger. Second year with Felix, we know what to expect from him. So yeah, really excited, high expectations. Still a tough field here in IndyCar, but the goal is to be on the front row.
Excellent. That's Adam Rovazini. Back to the guys in the booth.
Thanks, I like the picture that we saw there. Go on.
First time Jack Harvey has the mic in his hands instead of a wheel in his hand. First time we've seen Jamie Little covering IndyCar in over a decade, was with the ABC crew. I'll tell you what, the big expectation for Meyer-Shank Racing is new technical alliance. Jumped over from Andretti Autosport setup sheets and technical support, now in the Chip Ganassi camp. And that means, Josh, Marcus Armstrong is still technically signed as a Chip Ganassi Racing driver. He's able to drive for MSR under that contract. I don't know if it's the same kind of scenario right now for Linus Lundqvist, but if something were to happen to any of the Shank drivers and there's an unavailability, we could potentially see him jump in. But so much are we talking about the excitement for AJ Foyt with the Penske setup. I'm really, really curious to see what Mike Shank and his crew can do with help from Chip Ganassi. Watching Alexander right here, number 20 car, brand new colors and sponsoring with Java House. Just announced this week, Cracker Barrel. I would say one of the best looking cars on the grid this year.
Certainly is an improvement on last year's model. We can actually easily identify it. It's not too dissimilar to what we see with Colton Herta, is it? With the sort of yellow engine cover and front wing end plates, but the sort of whiteness is an easy spot for us all. It looks a bit like some ice cream, doesn't it, as well, with a cross between a vanilla and a Mr. Whippy. But still looking great. Rossi's actually set the fastest time so far at a 1 minute 2.37. That was his last fast lap time as well. We've got the hybrid power battery notifications as well, so it's all going to be information for you to see back at home. And also, just a reminder, we'll be back with you in our normal box tomorrow ahead of second practice, which we'll have, as well as qualifying and the first race of the year on Sunday, which is back-to-back with NASCAR. And depending if his voice is up for it, Jake Sanson will also be joining us in the commentary, both IndyCar to NASCAR. So that's going to be a good lot of fun as well. What's the basis then here? It's always an interesting one to start the season in St. Petersburg. Everybody loves it. Everybody really feels this is now the traditional start point to a season. We had Texas for that year in COVID, but now it's sort of a lot of Formula One in Albert Park. We really can actually tell a difference because this is a good circuit to separate the field with. It's a fast-flowing circuit here in Florida.
I separate it a lot from Long Beach because you have so much less straightaway, so much more genuine overtaking opportunities. The track is so much wider and in so many more areas. You'd hope so, considering we've got an airport runway as the front straightaway. But you've got so many different areas where if you're brave enough, you can stick your car where the sun doesn't shine. We've seen that happen so many times in the past years in this DW12 era with a mix of results. I think it is so much more of a test of courage because unlike Long Beach, where it's not even a factor, or some other road courses or street courses on the calendar, if you're brave enough, you can make it stick in a lot of places here.
One thing I'm noticing is the Fox adverts the same, it seems, as NASCAR. Every 5 minutes they seem to be pop-offing to somewhere else. But I understand the races are going to be a lot better. But if they do pop off, it means we get to hear more from Tom Gaymore this year as well, who will be filling in still on the Sky UK broadcast. We'll still take him there, coming to us from IndyCar Live, because here in the UK they are still showing testing coverage after the opening of Formula One as well. We're riding on board. I can't tell who it's with at the moment. I want to say
Siegel.
It's Nolan Siegel, yeah. How
So
long until I get it wrong?
Yeah, little bit of a color switch up for the McLaren fans here.
Yeah.
Number 7 is no longer got that white and orange combination like Alexander Rossi had last year. That is a more full papaya color, which in my opinion still looks fantastic. 6, as it was last year, that'll be piloted by Nolan Siegel full-time this season. Hopefully, that's kind of in this streamlined, sleek blue color. Still a couple hints of oranges in there. That's Onsumi and NTT data coloring. And then Padua Ward, as always, in that number 5 black and orange machine. He will be easiest to make out of all of them. Mainly because he'll be having his hands in opposite lock for half of the lap anyway.
Let's see what Fox are up to now then. On their broadcast as they fly back in. We have been told that even though we are on the international feed, don't go worrying if it's in a black screen, because that is just Fox coming back. Sunday, noon Eastern is when we're on as well for IndyCar. IndyCar comes first, and then as soon as IndyCar's over, we throw over to NASCAR about a couple of hours later. 8:30 over here in the UK, it will be the fastest sport on earth is what the tagline is this time, and it really is true, as we've got 27 minutes left of this practice session, but still an hour to go. Jackson, explain why first practice on street courses are separated so.
I love this so much. Great call from IndyCar and Marshals to go and do this. 45 minutes open practice for everybody. Then second half of it, we'll split it up into 2 different groups. That'll be split just straight down the middle of pit lane. And front half of the pit lane will go first for about 10-15 minutes. Take a little bit of a breather in between. Then the second half will go. That kind of gives you more time to maybe dial in your qualifying setup, get an understanding of what the track is like in open air, and just kind of really test the limits of not just the cars, but how much you can kind of test the limits of this very challenging, very punishing St. Petersburg course. Rookies are allowed, this is the big exception, to run both of these sessions. Talking about Prima right now, first time we've seen a new team since Carlin back in 2018. I know you are no stranger to this team with European coverage, Josh, but man, is it exciting to see a new team as always in the IndyCar series.
Absolutely, and I know Omi's got his mic off, and I know he's just watching in the background, but I'd love it if Omi can get a mic for a minute or two, because I want to, hello, Primo here, and me and you know it very well through F2 and F3 support series as well. How big news is this for them to come into IndyCar? And actually, we'll hear in a second from their top guy.
Prema here with us in IndyCar.
Prema.
Why did you make the move? You've still got plenty going on over in Europe.
First of all, again, it's an honor to be here. We are really happy hitting the track here in St. Petersburg for our first event. I think it's a long journey for us ahead of us. It's a very challenging one and very difficult, but we need to be proud on what we have done in the last 6 months, because starting from zero, achieving what we are now hitting the track with 2 cars and so is
Well, unfortunately, we seem to have lost connection with the guys in the booth, so I shall step in. It has come back now. It does sound like,
Hello?
hopefully. Hello, you're back with us. There we are. Back.
Okay.
Back to you two.
No worries, JT. If we lose connection again, we are very much on the basics at the moment, systems to come in. Back to you, Omi, then. I was just talking about what it's like for Prema to come in big time now from a European race point of view, coming in to tackle IndyCar.
It is. It is really, really big. Such a great team. And of course, they've succeeded so well in all of the racing they do in previous series as well. Not just the F2, F3, but even the lower cap. They're all IndyCar season for them.
Yeah, Callum Ilott and Robert Schwartzman Jackson, very big names over here in Europe as well to come in. Nice to see them both finding a home. Ilott's been in the series before. Robert Schwartzman making full-time debut. What have your impression been?
If I'm Prema, Ilott was absolutely a no-brainer. He's built a new team. He did it with Juncos just a couple of years back, but he's got that ability to turn maybe untested performance into gold. Had a lot of really, really solid results with Juncos before we saw that unfortunate falling out with that team due to Canapino, but I think it's absolutely a fantastic pairing to see the former F2 driver, the former Ferrari Academy driver back here in IndyCar with Prema. Robert Schwartzman, untested talent, a little bit of a roll of the dice, but he's got synergy with this team. He's driven with Prema in numerous junior categories before. He's one of the big rookie candidates of the year, and if he can get it together, he's got a lot to learn here. We've seen a lot of F2 guys really, really perform well. Go see what Theo Porcher did on the streets of Long Beach to learn and build the plane as they're flying it. We're just going to have to see and wait. I would love to see Robert Schwartzman deliver this brand new team some solid results so far.
Phoenix Rosenquist has spun and continued at turn 3, according to the race control data up here. Hey, fantastic. Hey, so that we can relax up here now while you guys see the full data back at home. We'll leave you on battle screen so that you're not looking at empty space because we were on emergency systems. Fox changing everything and IndyCar changing their website. Took us a while to get everything sorted. Amazing work, and a round of applause to JT behind the scenes for producing this as well. So Jackson, coming into this, Prema looking good, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed that this is going to be not another Carling that came in, thought they could do it, and then sheepishly left without a ban, really.
I'll tell you what, I think this is a good time for a new team to come and join. Even with the rise of the charter system, they're technically joining as an unchartered team. So could we see, a couple more unregistered entries try and join races outside of the 500, they could get bumped. It's 27 cars in all races except the 500 as
Oh,
we're
there we go.
watching this. Oh, baby. One of the fastest turns on the course right there. I believe that's turn 3. Danny
That's where he
Sullivan's
went.
at it, babe.
Did he go flying there a couple of years ago as well in that very same spot?
We've had incidents there many a times. So it's possible, but where were we?
Prema coming in.
Yes.
And
Oh my god.
Carling, yeah.
So no, it's a risk with the charter system, absolutely. But I think things are so standardized right now that it is a perfect time to join financially. Maybe I'm a little bit on the minority when I say that, but we're at the point right now where you can be fairly competitive out of the box. Everyone kind of knows what a fast setup, what a fast strategy is with these cars. So I think the key to really getting good success right now is finding other ways to do that. I think a great example of finding unorthodox ways, I know roads are leading back to me talking about Meyer Shank Racing, but they were talking about doing a NASCAR strategy of getting NASCAR style flyaway teams, not strategists or mechanics, bona fide pit crew guys, former college athletes, what have you, to go and do their pit stops. That's how close of a field this is right now in conventional ways. So you got to get creative. You got to find new ways to do it. And not only do I think Prema is going to be competitive out of the box because of that, European racing is all about finding those little ways to get advantages. So I think they are absolutely in the right place at the right time.
Alex Plo's gone to second place on a 101.408. Looking good at the moment. Let's talk for a second about Fox's timing tower here. Not a fan. Not a fan at all. Okay.
It looks solid. I just think it's a smidge too big. Is the only thing I would be saying.
We need to sort of have... that's the runway, which has been made home to a bird's nest. That's the runway lights. Oh, there we go. Ask, we shall receive. A new timing tower has come up from Fox here as well on the booth as they're testing out several different systems as we momentarily lose pictures, which means they're coming back on Fox Sports 2 as well. But Jackson, out of interest, what would you say would be Fox's biggest aim this weekend coming into broadcast for the first time?
Give the best public image of the series as humanly possible. Now, if you've watched the Super Bowl, you know they've already done their homework and they've already really gotten the momentum going. So carry all of that momentum from the promotion, all of that effort into a really, really good on-track product in production. A lot of times, the Fox NASCAR side of things makes that issue of you get too fancy. You zoom in down to the molecules. And you go into the Hollywood side of things. The racing is phenomenal enough. You just let the on-track stuff do the talking, and I think you're going to be okay. St. Pete is not starved at all when it comes to drama. So just IMS Productions, who's behind the cameras, behind all the switches. It's just Fox right now doing the graphics and bringing the talent in. So IMS Productions just needs to go and do what they've always done and use this great momentum Fox has given them to really, really set the tone for a very, very spotlight-focused 2025.
It's very good. I like it. I just wish, as you say, a bit smaller, bit more names on the board, and that FS1, that INDYCAR series logo, that needs to be shrunk or maybe put at the bottom somewhere.
This is also arguably just me, but we're only getting the numbers on the number plates. I would prefer the colors and the backing of that, but that's just me.
And I'm with you on that. It's a bit blank at the moment, isn't it? Even on our timing screen that you're seeing, we have that ability to keep the same things in position as well. So it always has an interest out there as well. Loving these new graphics that we can play with, and we'll have our usual driver tracker available to us come qualifying tomorrow.
So new colors for our broadcasts, new colors for Andretti IndyCar. New name for Andretti, shall we say. Moves over from the Andretti Global name, which is still the overall organization name, but we'll just be calling them Andretti IndyCar from now on. New colors for the 28 and the 27. Bryant colors for Marcus Ericsson. He's been carrying that brand for a couple of years now, but they make the promotion up to the title sponsor. Watching a little bit of a replay. Ooh, baby. Turn 3 is going to be your problem all week, Josh. I think we watch a little bit of a wiggle here as Marcus Ericsson maybe spends a little bit too much time on the oversteer and almost lawn darts it into the wall. But that added weight on the rear is from the hybrid system is definitely going to confuse how this car is performing.
I wonder if this is because, as you said, the extra weight and the hybrid power really is sort of deploying it differently. It's the first time we've raced here with hybrid power. Last time we were in the first half of the season with normal aspiration, no longer with the battery, and just a little bit of a slide again for the 28 coming through turn 3. Marcus Ericsson, 4 top 5s, 8 top 10s, average finishing position of 15.2. Failing to mention there, an Indy 500 champion.
And also reaching 100, going to be reaching his 100th IndyCar Series start this year. Still feels like just yesterday he made his IndyCar debut with McLaren, now formerly Aero Schmidt Peterson Motorsports, James Hinchcliffe's teammate back in 2019. Really thought it was just a popularity hire by a lot of fans at first and did not come to play around. They knew, Chip knew there was something special in that kid, and they brought him on. And Chip likes winners and got an Indy 500 with him.
Damage to the front wing of Coulter Herta, damage to the rear wing of one of the Pramers. Which I was just,
between the two.
Would love to see that again with a. Yeah, hopefully we get to see that more than once. Yeah, I can easily tell that FS1 could be shrunk like massively. I mean, it's setting me off a little bit.
It is visually a lot more appealing than former graphics packages we've seen. It's
NBCs were boring. I keep saying NBCs are boring.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
It's like it's swollen. But then again, this is what the opening race of the year is for. They'll listen to feedback, they'll change it, they'll adjust it. We'll be okay in the end. Alex Blow's coming to the pit lane.
NASCAR on CW's graphics.
Yeah, that's good, isn't it?
Those are good. That's that good stuff.
I doubted the CW, but I'm no longer doubting them. They have full support. If JT... Why? Who swore? It's INDYCAR. We can swear on INDYCAR. That rule only applies to the FIA events. Yeah, that rule only applies to FIA series events. So Formula E, Formula 1, that sort of thing. WEC. It's Supercars FIA. Oh. See, INDYCAR did away with the FIA.
Maybe I didn't know that. Interesting choice from Fox to be playing a California-based song by Sublime here on the Florida coast, but we'll take it.
I think that was just...
Copyright going wild.
I think that was just for us, you know, because they're not back off the world feed advert yet.
I'll say for any of the Europeans watching, you fail to understand how big of a sports market Tampa Bay really is. I think Miami is obviously a big target when it comes to sports, but the greater Tampa Bay area is obviously massive, so much so that the Tampa Bay Rays were considering rebuilding and getting their new stadium moving from Tropicana Field over to a new stadium to be built actually right here in St. Pete, albeit hurricane last year kept that from happening. So they are actually playing, they're going to be playing in the spring training stadium for the New York Yankees for a majority of the year, while the dome of the Trop is being rebuilt. So history or future of sports in St. Pete is an anomaly for now, but it seems right now, as we're now 20 years in to the Grand Prix of St. Petersburg, I think there's always going to be some kind of racing pedigree in this town, and it's only building.
The month of May.
Yeah.
That's a surprise. Okay. We'll adjust that to come through. Right. The month of May will be very interesting. We'll bring you the open test, as well as all practice sessions. It's what I like to call let's murder JB time, to lock him in a box for 2 weeks, 8 hours a day. Oh yeah, Yeah, you must admit too, JT, that the month of May is not so much, oh, let's have 8 hours a day of practice for IndyCar 500. This is, let's kill JB by leaving him on his own for 8 hours.
Yeah, definitely kill JB time. Hello, everyone. I'm actually here now. It might have been a little bit weird. It sounded like JB was having a conversation with someone, but you couldn't actually hear me. That's because I was in the talk back a little bit of a new toy that we had there, and I'm just gonna play with my new toys and turn the fader down a bit so I don't deafen you as I see I'm going red.
We can barely hear you. You sound so tinny and far away.
That sounds like a you problem, JB, because I'm fine on OBS.
Oh, could be the systems are changing. That's going to be something to watch out for.
That was really annoying.
The blue light at the exit of pit lane is not functioning properly, apparently, so they don't know when faster cars are coming.
Great start.
Oh, dear.
And this is, by the way, one of the scariest bloodlines in road racing, just because you have such a high speed, such a high commitment corner. That turn 3 where we saw Felix Rosenqvist have his spin, that's about 90 feet after the pit lane blend. Yeah. So, absolutely something you would prefer to have working right now. Watching Stingray Rob, Season 3. New team here with Junko Solinger. He's behind the wheel of the 77. White and green colors right now. Keeps new look, but keeps his sponsor from last year with AJ Foyt and Good Heart Pet Charities. Gorgeous car.
Gorgeous livery on this is, I absolutely love it as well. It's minimalistic, but still great. Scott Dixon had a little bit of a lock with the rear there coming into turn 1. I hope he's got the power back down. No power steering, of course, in IndyCar, unlike you see in other sports like Formula 1. So if you have that type of moment, 9 times out of 10, you're going round. It's pure skill to keep it in.
Am I the only person who is surprised and shocked that it's been 3 years since Stingray Rob joined?
Not really, because when he did join, he was involved in that massive accident in race 1.
It does not feel like it's been 3 years, has it?
Yeah.
It's gone by quick.
22.
It has gone by quick.
22, 23, 24. No, 23, 24, 25. So there's the boat.
I mean, realistically, it's only been 2.
That's the transportation for Townsend Bell this morning.
Beat me to it. I was going to say, it's Will Buxton arriving from Britain, back on the boats.
Well, thanks to Sky having like 16 million channels and not having IndyCar on, I'm watching Super League.
Why aren't you watching the Discord?
I am watching the Discord, but on my main TV I've got Super League on.
Alright. I was going to say, we can see TV pictures. I don't like the new app, by the way. It's still not. How come IndyCar can make a new app, but it's still not iPad appropriate? How have they not made one for iPad yet? Come on, guys.
Is it a new app?
It's a slightly new app with a new layout, and I don't like it. I don't like it. It's making everything difficult to use.
All of you guys at home can definitely see this, but it's business as usual right now up front. Obviously, a lot of things have changed in the offseason, but pace definitely is not for Alex Palou. He leads out right for the moment in this kind of first half of the practice session. Joseph Newgarden second, Will Power third, Scott McLaughlin is fourth, Kyle Kirkwood fastest of the end right fifth, Christian Rasmussen flexing that muscle for Ed Carpenter Racing. Scott Dixon in ninth. Again, the dude ages like a fine wine. Alexander Rossi in eighth. Both of those ECR guys are cooking right now in this first practice session. Battle Award ninth. Felix Rosenqvist from Meyer Shank rounds out your top 10.
How long, Jackson, until Scott Dixon wins another race? Because he is fine, as you say. And he is getting quicker and quicker as he gets older. Age does not seem to mellow him.
If pace will not get him there, and everybody knows this, strategy will absolutely get him to the front. The man can lift and coast like nobody else, and he can make, if you give him a fuel number or a tire distance number, he will absolutely positively make it. He will find a way. So you could argue that the hybrid system is another factor and something else he's got to worry about. But with that, I think, one, that's another thing he can absolutely use to his advantage. And two, we haven't really talked about this yet, Josh. We've got a lot of race distance changes this year. A couple laps added thanks to Firestone and INDYCAR making that decision. Not only should that hopefully make the racing a lot more interesting, drivers have been talking about that, especially strategists and Mike Hull, the guy who's been behind the shots for Scott Dixon for well over a decade. I guarantee you he's been spending a lot of late nights figuring out some potential game plans. In these 5-6 races, we're going to have a couple more laps at it. It's going to absolutely mandate another pit stop. So some exciting stuff. I think it's going to absolutely give the Iceman an opportunity not just to get a win this season, but chase that ever ominous all-time win record as he's less than 10 wins away from the great AJ Foyt.
See, that talkback is still new to some of us getting used to hearing that again from JT talking, because we never know if it's on talkback or not to come through. Yeah, we told Jackson that we were doing it. We've got it now, so we can talk to each other without any of you hearing, which is cheeky and very interesting. So, Palo with a 101.211, he's the top at the dog at the moment. Just taking a look further down the timing screen, some surprises sort of out of position. Colton Herter, we're looking on screen now, being one of them. Only 2 laps complete after having that issue with the front nose early on in the session. He's only done a 106, but to lose so much of this session, Jackson, very bad news already for the number 26 car in a year that he sort of needs to prove himself, because he is up for the Formula 1 seat when Cadillac enter in 2026, which is basically Andretti.
I really don't think Herta's getting hot under the collar at this. He knows Andretti's are fast. The dampers that team has always been the silver bullet for this team when it comes to the street courses. It's why they've been so fast here, so fast at Long Beach. Why he had that dominant return win at Toronto. I mean, the guy knows this track very, very well. So obviously a little bit of a setback. He's going to have another 45 minutes here to go and figure that out. But we're watching another guy right now who had a very, very hectic, we want to talk about hectic 2024s. Look no further than Lil Dave, Chicago's own David Malukas.
He really struggled last year as well. Now he's up into 17th place for AJ Foyt Racing on a 102.123 on that board as well. Just improved to a 103.288 as well. I'm hearing the music, so they're going to an ad break again on Fox, which is understandable. 42,000, 43,000 now, by the way, on the WEC stream. Very impressed with that. 7
Going
4.
Going back to David Malukas really quickly, for those of you who somehow do not remember, had a mountain bike incident where he fractured his wrist prior to the season, was scheduled to be in the 6th car where we're seeing Nolan Siegel right now. Ended up not starting the season, was a moving deadline for when the comeback was going to be for Dave, and then ultimately lost that seat right after Long Beach. Had a couple of weeks running around trying to find a potential option, and then when Myers Shank cut Tom Blomqvist after the 500, stepped right in and filled that seat from Laguna Seca onwards, and fit right in, was genuinely very, very fast. So big day for him as he starts a new season with a new team. Big day for this guy right here, Mario Andretti, a man who needs no introduction, a man who turns 85 years young today.
Now apparently called Ted Cassidy, who's nicked his headset, I've noticed, coming through. Not the best news to do that, to come through. But yes, Michael, he can wear whatever headset he likes, to be fair. I've noticed as well he's wearing headphone covers, so he's being kind at least. 85 years old, and here still in motorsport. He just, I don't know. Gone.
2014, when James Hinchcliffe suffered a concussion at the Indy GP and was unable to drive, Mario, with full, genuine commitment, said, "I will step in." 74-year-old Mario Andretti said, "Put me in, coach."
Well, he'll never lose it. He'll always have that ability to drive.
He drove the 2-seater up until a handful of years ago, and even when He had that little incident, spun the two-seater at Texas, but kept it out of the wall. He practically had to be pried out of the two-seater job. But the guy is still getting his hands on in every way possible with not just this team, but with the up-and-coming Cadillac Formula One team. Has been very, very involved with that development, which is why he's hoping to get Colton Herta. But the guy has absolutely not lost that fire in him one bit.
Absolutely loved when we had Marco on pole for the Indianapolis 500 that we had 3 generations of Andretti lead the field. We had Michael and Mario in the two-seater, and then we had Marco at the on-pole position leading through.
Goodness,
it was so special. So special. Flags coming out then here in FP1. Yeah, but Jackson, it was fantastic, wasn't it?
No, beautiful. Really, really cool moment there. Very rarely can you say that you've had 3 generations of racing drivers make it to the top rung, period. But to see them all at the same time is absolutely beautiful. Checkered flag is out. We need to mention it before the end of this session. Not only is Kyle Kirkwood smoking fast right now, he's got a smoking hot ride right now. I mean that literally and figuratively. AutoNation colors are gone, but the Chili's ride, new Chili's colors, looks absolutely gorgeous for this 27.
I don't know how hot I like my chili, to be fair with that. I've burnt my lip. Commentating, by the way, it takes it out of you. I've got very sore lips at the moment after the 24 hours, 8, 16, 24 hours of testing. I had a curry for tea, and I made it myself, and I put a lot of garlic on the chicken, and it's burnt my lip even more. So if you see me sort of having to touch my lip, it's just because it's sore. So I'm just trying to not make problems. The timing screens change as part 1 has been concluded here. Next up, it's Group 1 for their segment out there on the circuit with the fast tyres allowed of the red walled going out there. So sticker reds coming up next. And yeah, Jackson, just explain to us the process we're going to see now, because that first session was done completely on the hard compound tyre. Now we're going to head out there and everyone's going to get their run on the soft compound tyre, maximum attack, and of course uninterrupted.
On the spot here, so you can take it with a grain of salt, but again, it's going to be a handful of 15-minute sessions with a break in the middle. This is going to allow us to run that softer but faster wearing alternative compound by Firestone. And again, it's going to be split 2 ways. We're going to cut the pit lane down the middle, so the front of that pit row will run first, and then we'll have a little bit of an intermission. Back half of the pit lane will run afterwards. Our 3 rookies, though, Robert Schwartzman, Louis Foster, and Jacob Abel, will be able to run both of those sessions to get as much seat time as possible, which will be great data for Prema. Really, really good data for Abel and Foster as well.
So it's McLaughlin, Malukas, O'Ward, Siegel, Palau, VK Rasmussen, Kirkwood, Eriksson, Foster, Abel, Armstrong, Robb, Schwartzman, Eilert, who head out in the first session, Group 1. 10 minutes in length, I'm being told. It will be for this first session. It's popped up on the Fox graphic as well. JT, at least this time we know it's happening, unlike in the NBC days where sometimes, not admittedly, they did forget it was going to happen.
Yeah, they have forgotten in the past. I'm setting up something hopefully quickly where we can have the full screen, full 3-screen and full 2-screen cam in between the sessions, because the timing screen has kind of died, hasn't it? So there's no point in having it on.
It is back now. We have a little one, but I know what you're on about. This is heartbreaking. Is this Please, Please, Please by Sabrina Carpenter on in the background?
I don't think so.
It sounds like it, doesn't it? Don't know what this is. It is. It is. Instrumental. Oh dear, they really are putting it out there, aren't they?
Fastest in practice is going to be a surprise to nobody. Alex Pillow, Joseph Newgarden, Will Power, Scott McLaughlin is your top 4. Kind of Not too much of a shocker then. Your fastest Andretti, Kyle Kirkwood, Long Beach winner. Guys fast on the street circuits. Christian Rasmussen has not flexed his muscle a lot, period, let alone with ECR. You've got a handful. You've got both Ed Carpenter cars in the top 10. Alexander Rossi in 9th. Great running from Nolan Siegel in 10th as well. Lockstep right now with his teammate Pato O'Ward in 5th. Scott Dixon, shocker to no one, running 7th right now.
Look at that with O'Ward, though. He's going to be a bit, okay, what do we do here in the situation? Looking on in the 26, but how good is this? Let's just talk about the DHL car now going to Alex Palou. How big of a deal is that? You know, Tim Ganassi has taken the DHL sponsorship. It's fantastic.
Hello, everyone.
It's something we've had for a while here. Which is a shocker to nobody, but so let's go trackside to Jack Harvey if we can, Josh.
And still early, but it's got to be a good feeling.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's one set of tires in, so it's nice to have both cars in the top 10. Be going out with the alternates here, so we'll see how we shake out there. You know, a lot to learn with this tire. It's different from last year, more similar to 2023, so just trying to get as much info as we can. But yeah, it's always great to roll off the truck and feel like you're in the window. So kudos to the team.
And then initial feedback from both the guys, were they similar? Were they a little bit different?
Yeah, pretty similar. You know, we started with the cars a little different actually, so it's interesting that they're as close as they are. But yes, I would say the characteristics and the things that they're both asking for are pretty similar, which is always a good thing too.
Thank you, Ed.
Thanks.
Thank you, guys.
Oh, that's loud in my ear. Will Bucks just shouting at me saying 10 minutes. Thank you, Will, with the talk about being on. I forgot about that. I have just sent JT an idea in Discord. Are you able to read Discord, JT, right now? Or do you want me to just tell you? Oh, lovely. You sent it over to come through. As Omi returns to watch in the background, like the stalker he is, David Malukas is the only driver so far to stay in the pit lane. As we take a look now at the 21 of Christian Rasmussen exiting onto the runway, lovely, on the runway and down towards turn 1.
Out of the box swinging so far this weekend was very, very fast, as we just said. Both cars in the top 10 with two guys that were struggling for pace in 24. Ed Carpenter has done a lot of different things to get these cars as fast as possible. A lot of financial bolstering with new sponsors Splenda and Java House on both of those cars. A couple more individual sponsorships in the form of Cracker Barrel for Alexander Rossi and a couple more for Christian Rasmussen. So looking really, really sporty here. I know it's too early to call the shots here, but looking to work their way forward here in 2025.
Nice group as we take a look inside. Driver cooling is very important this year, and there's been a few tweaks to make sure that the drivers don't overheat with the aero screen, which is now, I believe, in its 3rd iteration, Jackson, this year. They've introduced it mandatory wide.
2020, I believe, is when it first came in. Or at least we had experimentation of it. I mean, like the Halo was controversial at first, but then we've seen the genuine effects it's had, not just at the 500, but everywhere. We can say without a doubt this is potentially prevented serious injury to the heads and absolutely saved lives in some scenarios. So obviously took a lot of getting used to, and you got to give a lot of your flowers to Red Bull Technology for making this work, and to Laura for having this chassis have so many different iterations and still run this way, and still, you know, have an appealing package. In unpopular opinion, I think the aero screen looks better than the Halo in F1.
You know, I was about to say it does, doesn't it? I think the aero screen is the natural evolution to what the Halo is. Excellent. So while we get the times coming in, let's take a look then with all of us on screen with all the data, because this is sort of the go point in the practice session now, where we have all the data above us and all of us at the bottom here. So hello.
Hello.
JT's with us. Nice to see you, my friend. How's producing everything been? Oh, that looks swish, my friend. Very nice.
It is, well, I think...
Stealing that.
I think stressful is an understatement at the start. The thing that I wasn't testing is the thing that broke. The thing that I'm testing for the first time broadcasting has worked absolutely perfectly.
So what broke?
My whole laptop OBS thing. The thing that didn't break was the bus mixer.
That's good, but
Which is absolutely amazing, by the way.
Yes, it's brilliant, mate. What JT's had is what I had this morning with Megan's laptop, where it all freezes. So thumbs up. I'm thinking, mate, I think it's an OBS issue if we both had the same thing. So I'm hoping that might be fixed later, because even my one's played up.
Did it lag your whole laptop out as well?
It did several times. Do you remember when we were setting up in between sessions, when I was trying to get Weck, and I said, something's lagging. Nothing's on, but it's really lagging. So yeah, I think it's that. This is the 90 there, Jackson, with the promo, and just kissing the wall. Looking at not to damage the suspension there.
Might be you can absolutely scrape the wall or give it a little bit of a love tap, and it'll be the sidewall that suffers most of the damage. That's going to need a trip to pit road to make sure something didn't break, or if not, your alignment isn't out of whack. However, coming back into view is Callum Ilott in the 20. He's kept that car going in the 90, excuse me. He's kept that car running. I think he said, if I'm holding the wheel straight, and we're okay, we're going to keep running this thing till the wheels fall off.
Yeah, just under 6 minutes left to go as Fox transition, I'm guessing, to their final advert break of this part of the practice. What I love about this, JB, what I love about this new sound mixer is I can press this button and I can stop talking to this, and then I'm back on the stream. I absolutely love that.
I know. The talkback is brilliant. We're
Great,
gonna have so much
isn't it?
fun with that. Yeah. Flag is out in Weck, by the way. We won't spoil the race winner, but that race is over. I want to thank the 45,000 people who have watched that YouTube stream over the last 10 hours.
Insane.
You guys are legends. We didn't expect that. And we were going to commentate on that race because we thought, only a couple of hundred people will be watching. We'll swoop in, have a laugh. But as soon as we realised how popular it was because Weck's system had gone down, we said, we're leaving it, we're not touching it, they can have it. Yep. And so we just said, fans, you have what you like. So we've been delighted that we could bring that to you back home. Here for INDYCAR, however, it's all hands on deck and we're getting ready for a great season. Just quickly, as at the moment we've got Marcus Ericsson on top, we're going to have Group 2 come out shortly again. The only change, of course, for road courses, Jackson, on street circuits, the super red tyre changes to green. No difference in compound, just the colour change.
Yeah.
That's a change that's been implemented actually about a season and a half ago. It's been tested. We're having a full-time commitment now. It was a couple select street courses starting in 23. Then it's still been like that for a couple seasons, and now it should be for all of the street courses this year. That's using a renewable, I'm going to butcher the pronunciation of this, Ganyu rubber? Ganyu? It's a reusable rubber based off of some kind of wood for that set of alternatives. So it is truly different than the normal red sidewalls you'll see at the other natural road courses we'll be going to. Is
red flag!
We might have the red flag out. Oh boy.
That's not easy to tell, is it, on Fox's coverage there? So Marcus Armstrong apparently has gone off the circuit. Oh, I said it was hard to tell. Fox have given us a red flag logo.
Yeah,
very nice done, Fox. So, there it is. He spun. Exit of 3. You were said to watch out, and now the 65 is right in the centre of the track. Oh dear.
Rodside, he's off the racing line though. He got it refired and at least got it off of where the racing line is. He uses that hybrid system to refire it, get it in reverse. AMR safety team comes on scene, but I think Marcus says, I got it, guys. Thank you. On his way there in the 66, and business as usual.
They're just not needed anymore, are they?
So something that's going to take some getting used to for everybody watching at home, and I know this is heartbreaking for a lot of you. AutoNation is gone. Therefore, we will be losing the pink liveries in both IMSA and INDYCAR for Meyershank Racing. We've already seen it on screen be lost as we're watching the replay now. Exactly where his teammate Felix Rosenquist lost it. I think they're running with a little bit more of a loose setup on the rear.
Oh,
that back end wants to go around a lot easier. Barely keeps it outside of the concrete retainers. on the outside of turn 3. And a couple of real close calls here for Mike Shank Racing, who is, I mean, go check Mike Shank and Jim Meyer's pulse right now. Because, man, a couple of close calls here in pre-practice 1. Man.
Another thing to point out is it was mandatory a couple of years ago for all FIA circuits, but now American, and we have light panels around this circuit for the first time, because it was brought in mid last year, wasn't it, that we had to have light panels at the circuits. Right. But this is the first time here, and that's why we had the test early on in the session to make sure they were all working.
What was part of initially the major overhaul we saw at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. And that was one of the things that really started the conversation of, do we really want to go through this and improve safety? We really could go ahead and do that. 3 minutes, 30 seconds to go here in practice. Red flag is still out, although the man who brought it out, Marcus Armstrong, has gotten the 66 MSR car back to pit row. As I say that, we're back to green.
And are they going to have a restart? No, Fox have got to ad break and kept us on camera. So 2 minutes 24 seconds under the red flag. I heard.
Great start. Fox going to ad break just as the session goes green. I think Go on, Jackson.
I want nobody to blame IMS Productions for this. That's just network bull junk, and it's only FS1. Let's wait until the race.
I think I've worked it out.
Throwing hands here at the network. 10 minutes into, like, they just showed up.
Jackson really
I get it, man. But you gotta deal with the cards that you're dealt sometimes. On track, it looks banger. They have done nothing wrong, except the graphics are maybe a smidge too big. There's none of the NASCAR issues we've seen so far. You can objectively agree with me on that.
I can. Are you at Are you at Long Beach? Are you at Long Beach this year?
That should be the plan.
I'm looking forward to hearing Jackson Lambert's talk with Fox. Oh, what about
I'll
Thermal?
tell you what. We'll make this. We'll do a soft announcement here. I will not be in Thermal, unfortunately, because I will be doing my first crew IRL commission gig. I will be with Rock Cup out in Houston for the final round of Florida Winter Series. Yeah, I know, last round of Florida Winter Series in Texas. Don't think about it too much, but very, very thankful for the opportunity given to me by DJ Clark and the guys at Rock Cup to go and call that weekend. Very, very exciting. So
that's where Jackson's going to be. He's no longer slumming it with us. He's going off.
JB.
Fun ways, don't worry.
Go on.
This is live production talk on air because it's quiet, but I think I've worked it out as Josh frantically hits the cough button. Amazing broadcasting there that you've just seen. That was very quick to jump on that. I've also got a cough button as well. But yeah, I think I've worked it out that if because you can't tell whether I'm on talkback or not, if I just say the word talkback before I start talking, you will know if I'm on talkback or not. So we've worked that out. That's good. Under 1 minute, by the way. We do need a beep, but that will get very annoying very quickly, and I know that for a fact. 50 seconds remaining to be exact. And this screen looks very nice, doesn't it? It's a good screen.
It's it's a thumbnail for someone out there. So if you're watching us on Fox Sports 2, we welcome you back and take a look at Will Buxton's private bar. That's
is it FS2 or FS1 it is on?
I think it's FS1 actually. I should
Indy Next stuff should be FS2 for the free Sunday stuff, and then we'll have all of the race day stuff for Indy Next on FS1. Yep, FS1.
I mean, what gave it away? We're about to have a big logo at the top of the screen.
Yeah.
That'll do it. I don't know when to switch off the broadcast on WEC. I'm having to keep an ear open to that, but it's on the wrong side of the desk. Yep. That one. It's like,
right.
I'm to turn away from you.
Checkered flag. Checkered flag is out here.
And that's me, a red flag. Scotty Mack has hit the wall, exit turn 3, and has broken the front right suspension. And that is in the second half of the session before we even get going. What's he done there?
It's the exact same thing that's almost struck out both the Shank cars. It's got to be Josh, as I'd imagine I think he probably corrected it too fast and just buried that front left suspension into the concrete wall on the outside. again, we've talked about this. It's been a balancing issue with all of this.
Yeah.
These almost 200 new pounds sitting on top of the gearbox. This isn't one of the places where these guys have gotten to test that and get used to it. Let's watch the replay here. Oh, I'm wrong. He just, man. So he plowed into it initially, thought it was maybe okay to get away with, continued on at race pace for maybe second and a half, and that front left suspension just exploded.
He was so lucky there not to get airborne. If
Yeah.
that had gone underneath the car. McLaughlin with a huge impact there.
That
Let's see
would
if he
have
makes
gone
contact
under.
again with the outside wall. Tell you what,
I was looking at the rear
don't
suspension
think
as well,
that's gonna
mate.
be. We're gonna see some frustrated looks here from the 3 crew, which is very much understandable.
Yeah.
But they're gonna be lucky that that's only issues with the front left of the car, new front
Rear.
wing.
Rear too. He's done the rear suspension.
I don't know if there
He
was
did,
too much
it
of
was-
a tap there in the rear.
I want to replay that, but I swear it was hanging off. I think he's done the rear
I
suspension
think,
as well.
guys, we're lucky that that's on a street course, because if that was on a banked over, that would have definitely dug in.
Oh yeah, that would
Oh,
have.
absolutely.
Yeah.
JB, if you need to end the WEC stream, let me know and I'll go in battle screen.
Okay.
Just
I think they're doing
whenever.
a podium. Hang on.
Alright.
Yeah, I got you here.
Yeah, they're doing the podium interviews right now. I'll keep an ear out.
So checkered flag. Yep. So checkered flag comes out here for the first half of this first part of the second half of the practice session. Kyle Kirkwood absolutely showing that 27 crew is locked in. Alex Pillow second. Scott McLaughlin, who brought out this final incident here, finishes third. You guys can see the results here. Let's look, because even though Marcus Armstrong had that big incident earlier on, he was still very, very solid. Got that 66 and P6. And Scott McLaughlin, who was showing strong pace there in the thirsty threes, flew just a smidge too close to the sun there. And looking at the rear suspension, I think there is maybe a little bit of, you can definitely see scuff marks on the on the back left there. And yeah, I'm seeing that there's certainly something knocked off there in that rear geometry.
So we are delayed for a while. INDYCAR viewers. Due to technical issues, so this is UK by the way. Due to technical issues with the international feed from INDYCAR, we're unable to show you the opening INDYCAR practice, but we hope to be able to bring coverage of Saturday's sessions. So if you're in Sky in the UK, no, we cannot put the delayed coverage to air. So there is no coverage of the test on Sky Sports F1 in the UK, which means that JB Motorsports is the only place to see it if you're in the UK. How fantastic is that? Well done, everybody.
Got a race control message for everyone. Race control have said Group 2 will be next, so we're on the clock of this incident. That's what race control have said. Group 1 is done for the day. That's from Christopher Hardy as well.
So that red flag came out in time. Go on.
Jackson?
I don't know if I had anything for y'all. I don't know. Y'all were looking at me like I had something. I had nothing for you guys.
Amazing.
No, I mean, okay. Main takeaways here. Armstrong with his little incident was still incredibly fast. I think the Shank cars are absolutely people to look out for. I think Arrow McLaren's got a little bit of figuring out to do because Pato O'Ward was a little bit further back. Christian Lundgaard was a little bit further back than I think, or excuse me, Nolan Siegel was a little bit further back than he would have wanted. So maybe off on the wrong foot here, but we're going to have to see how Scott McLaughlin can recover and how the Thirsty 3 team is going to be able to recover from all of this because, man.
So, can I derail for just a second to talk about Formula
Absolutely.
1? Lovely. Formula 1 ran completely. So, I hate the talkback system. So, right. If we, I just want to talk Formula 1 for a second. It's very important. We ran 24 hours without one car breaking down in testing. Not one single car. Absolutely impressive. I've just been given the total list of red flags. Red flag number 1, Bahrain's power cut to the whole region. locking out the floodlights and the backup systems and everything there. Red flag number 2, a bus enters the circuit during the production. Red flag number 3, glass shatters on the circuit from the buzz tower. Red flag number 4, there's a moped on the circuit. I think we can tell the common theme here is that Bahrain should not be hosting preseason testing anymore.
Yeah, we should absolutely go back to the place that snows, that has a 10% chance of snowing. I very much agree with you.
We would get better running. And also, it rained. It rained in the desert.
That's good data. They need to know what the car's going to act like in the wet. Why are we freaking out about this?
Because none of the teams bought intermediate tyres, bar Haas and Aston Martin. Aston Martin didn't go out to use them, and Haas only used them for one lap. They came in and said,
Group 2 of practice 1 underway. Colton Herta, Scott Dixon, Christian Lundgaard, Santino Ferrucci, rookie Louis Foster, Felix Rosenquist, Jeff Simpson, Graham Rahal, Connor Daly, Devlin DiFrancesco, Robert Schwartzman, Jacob Abel, Joseph Newgarden, and Will Power.
Let's go down to Marcus Ericsson.
Yeah, a bit of a new challenge this year.
And then any early indication on the softer tyre for this weekend?
It's grippy. The question is how much they're going to last, but they're very grippy, so it should be interesting for everyone to sort of get the balance between the car on primaries versus alternates. I think that's going to be the challenge.
Excellent. It's Marcus Ericsson.
And that's what we talked about earlier.
Nice to hear there as well. So Jackson taking full advantage of the fact is that he's on the same wavelength as me today, and I can't mute him.
Let's talk about Marcus Ericsson really quickly, because 2024, first year with Andretti IndyCar, and was very much growing pains for him. Highlight was a second place finish on the streets of Detroit, which was taken with a little bit of a grain of salt, as that was a little bit of a crash fest. And Marcus will be the first to admit that was he was hoping for a better season. Was his worst result since, I think, his first year with Ganassi Racing back in 2020. So definitely has been putting in the work this offseason to try and move forward with this new team, prove he's not kind of the weakest of the trio here.
Sorry, just getting some other information coming through my ears as we get Lundgaard out of the circuit in the INDYCAR. He's gone third fast at the moment. Let's talk about Santino Ferrucci. I've called Max Verstappen in the past a cocky Dutchman. I think we could call Santino Ferrucci something a little bit worse as well, because his preseason interview with Fox made him sound like a whiny, bratty little kid. And I did not enjoy it, Jackson. I'd love to get your thoughts on this with Santino Ferrucci.
So two thoughts off the dome. I know Dan Ticktum was under fire for this a lot in Formula 2 as well. And after seeing him drive and hearing his radio from this past couple of weekends in Formula E, guys in the IndyCar paddock wish that Santino learned to behave himself and cool the jets the way Dan Ticktum has in Formula E. And it's been a hard one, but we're starting to see that signs of change. That has not happened for Santino. You could argue, trouble for Herta.
Spinned it at 360 to
refired.
Down at turn 1.
That being said, you can still argue that Santino has the pace to maybe back it up. And I mean that. If you are consistently going off of the season you just had with AJ Foyt, giving that team their best season in well over a decade, getting his first ever pole position on a road course at Portland of all places.
Yeah.
To say that was unexpected is absolutely an understatement. So unfortunately, he's filling this villain role, and he absolutely wants to. And even with all of this fire against him, I really do think he's a favorite to win the Indy 500 this year. I know that's a rough opinion. I know.
Really?
There's a part of me that doesn't want to say that as much as you guys don't want to hear it, but he is genuinely he has very rarely put a step wrong at the Brickyard. And you add in this extra bolstering from Team Penske over the past season, the only way is forward right now for AJ Foyt and for Santino Ferrucci. So it is going to be very, very interesting to see who can really, really silence that guy this year. We're gonna see.
Is that your early pick now? Santina, is it Santina Ferrucci for you? Going in for the 500. Is that your early pick?
I was asked by Dive Bomb and Archie O'Reilly about who I wanted. I said Santina was one of my top 3 picks. I think he'll definitely. He's got a good start. English Lambros. I think he's got a really good shot of starting on the front row. For the
hold on. You say English, barely. Let's not get that right. Come on. You're talking with Brits here, Jackson.
American English.
Anyway,
that's enough with me. Go on.
I really do think he's going to start on the front row for the 500. I really do think the one that's got away is going to come back for Pato Award. And there could be a little bit of bias in there, but you talk about if losses are learning experiences, nobody has learned more than Pato Award over the past couple of years. Rough loss to Marcus Ericsson 3 years ago, a devastating last corner pass from Joseph Newgarden last year. The guy has learned a lot, and I think he's learned more than anyone else how to fight back and kind of get himself out of that hole. So I think things are really going to come his way this year.
I will see your Pato Award, and I will raise you Alex Palou.
He's absolutely a favorite as well. I think you could say both are in the same storyline camp as they've had the pace. They've just never really been able to prove it. So I absolutely agree with you. Let's put the brakes really quickly and talk about Connor Daly. As we're watching him exit the pit lane, he was on the Spotters Guide listed as the 78. He's now driving as the 76, and you can see that with new sponsorship with that big 76 gas station logo on the roll bar and on the nose. So I'm interested to see how that rule is allowed to work, because again, I'm not sure if the Brits or the Europeans are aware that the gas station here in the States, I think they're probably selling it as a convenience store or truck stop more than anything for Connor Daly to go and run that. But again, we're officially fueled by Shell V-Power fuel. So very interesting to see how that works. Let's go to Jamie Little and Scott McLaughlin really quick.
Unfortunately, Dex Imaging Chevy was feeling pretty good. Just I was a little wide on the exit of turn 3 through 3, and there's a bit of a bump there. And yeah, the bump just sort of put me a little bit wider than I wanted, and no grip out there. So yeah, a bit of a bummer, the mistake, but you sort of rather have it happen now and just get on with the weekend. So yeah, I'll be flat there tomorrow morning. We'll be fine.
Bad rehearsal, good show, right?
Yeah, we'll be all right. Thanks.
Well,
thanks, Jamie.
Jamie Little down there as well, as we practically try and get our headsets in order.
Bob Parker excited. Everybody in FP1, we are treated to INDYCAR. Bob Pockris, take it in.
Rehearsal, good
First
show.
First time
right?
we're ever seeing Papa Bob at an INDYCAR event.
So he's missing. He is missing a NASCAR.
It's the first
goodness.
time in years he has missed a NASCAR event.
Why?
Let's get back really quick, if we can, to Connor Daly, because there was a very, very big moment with just 2 weeks ago. His main sponsor, Polka Dot, which helped him get back into INDYCAR, announced that they were not necessarily going to have the funding to help him and sponsor him for this year. And
I like that graphic. Look at that.
Connor publicly admitted, yeah, that's beautiful. Getting a live speed update there as we're running through the graphics package here for this weekend. But Connor publicly said it's very possible that, I maybe only start St. Peter, or my run with Hunkos this year only goes up until the 500. We'll see. But Hunkos Hollinger Racing, came out very quickly and said, not going to be a problem, business as usual. We've got enough sponsorship bolstering to keep that happening. There was something written in Daly's contract where, if need be, we'll go and pursue other drivers, but that's not something we've been thinking about at all. So it was very clear that Polka Dot was not going to be the sponsorship where if it was pulled, the Jenga Tower was going to fall down as a result. And I think we're instantly seeing that with the 76 sponsorship and a couple of other logos on that car. So right now, still business as usual, and going with the game plan here for Connor Daly. The only big thing that we've seen as a result is the number change, and a very interesting one at that.
Yeah, I wonder if it's being allowed because the season hasn't officially started yet. It's risky, but yeah.
Another fellow Penske brushing up against the wall. That's Will Power in the 12. Actually taking a little bit of paint off of the concrete barrier there. Guys, Will Power's car looks so good. If anyone asks what my favorite livery is, it's the thermal open test livery, the mustard and ketchup kind of shell-powered livery that Joseph Newgarden had a couple years back at the thermal open test, and this is pretty darn close to that.
It's like a McDonald's, isn't it, to come through? I like
I'm going to step away and see if I can find this, actually. Give me 1 second, Jeff.
Jackson has gone to find that as we look at Colton Herta with 30 seconds left of this session. Just keeping one ear off as they're doing a podium ceremony for the GT3 drivers in WEC, so we have time to fill 5 minutes, I believe, as they come through. Herta into the last corner, and he's going to dive into pit road as well here. So, Herta, Dixon, Foster, Daly, Power, Ferrucci as well, the top 6 that have come straight into the pit lane. And JT's back with us, and
Hello.
this game it is.
Don't question the tripod behind me, dear viewers. It might be a production behind the scenes I'm doing, so look out for that maybe on members. I don't know.
There we go.
I dread to think.
It was only detecting Joe for a second there, but very, very similar to what we're running here with Will Power, and I think it looks beautiful. So.
Does look good, doesn't it?
I can hear Will Buxton.
Just a smidge.
There's nothing on Buxton's talkback. I've opened it up. No, nothing on the talkback. We'll see what happens. If you guys heard that, I didn't. I'm surprised I didn't. With the same talkback systems. Okay. What have we made of opening practice here from St. Petersburg, Jackson?
Andretti is not playing any games. Colton Herta fastest in the first half. Kyle Kirkwood getting it absolutely going in the 27. I really, really like them. I think Prema, for their first session, not too bad. I mean, a little bit of growing pains, obviously, a little bit of a nudge we saw earlier from Callum Milot, but kept that car going. I think a couple guys need to get things set up. You can already tell that Penske is very much pushing the limits here to stay up front and stay in conversation. So it's absolutely Andretti's game. You turn back the clock to the first ever Grand Prix ran here. Dan Weldon won that race, and it was an Andretti 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm not saying we'll see a carbon copy of that, but they are looking very, very strong out of the gate here.
JT?
Yeah, good first practice session. Calm first practice session. I thought it would be more dramatic. Only, what is it, 3 red flags? And, well, most of them keeping them out the wall. Some very good saves there as well. That's the most American thing I think I've seen all day. A massive yacht in St. Petersburg as well, with the American flag on the back. And shall we go through the classification, guys?
I'll have to give it to Jackson because I needed it at work.
All right.
Colton Herta leads the second group here in practice 1. After that, Scott Dixon, Louis Foster. We haven't talked about you at all, Mr. Foster. The rookie in the 45 for RLL gets himself 3rd fastest in his first practice session soloed out. So he's fast on the alternatives. After that, Connor Daly flexing that muscle for Juncos earlier on. Will Power in the 12 car is 5th. Santino Ferrucci 6th. Alexander Rossi 7th. Graham Rahal is 8th. Kiffin Simpson 9th. Robert Schwartzman in that new Prima team running in the top 10 here in this group. Joseph Newgarden still struggling to find that pace right now. The defending winner, we'll use that with air quotes, but he's running 11th. Devlin DiFrancesco on his IndyCar return starts P12. Christian Lundgaard ends the day 13th. Jacob Abel, 14th, other rookie. Theo Trunk Rosenquist rounds out the field. Had a little bit of an incident earlier. Stays reserved and ends in 15th, guys.
Not bad at all. So, 9 a.m. Eastern on Fox Sports 2 is the NXT practice. NTT practice at 10 a.m. Eastern. Qualifying for NXT is at 1:30 on Eastern on Fox Sports 2 and 2:30 p.m. Eastern on Fox Sports 1. We're live throughout the entire day as well, which is going to be a lot of fun. Just want to bring this in, by the way, the final stream from Qatar. 46,487 views. The total watch time, 3,560,015 hours and 52 minutes. Is the final watch time.
Beautiful.
That's insane. Final done then, and well, Jackson, any early picks for pole, or we're gonna have to wait for practice too?
Give me practice too. Too early to call.
Yeah. We'll be back for all the action tomorrow here for INDYCAR. For myself, Jackson Ambrose, JT and Omi, thank you very much for your company. We'll see you tomorrow for second practice at St. Petersburg.